The Dice Odyssey.
Welcome to the Dice Odyssey. I'm Kas.
I'm Greg.
And we're here to show you a Japanese-themed abstract game called Onami. And quite frankly, that's going to be the easiest word that you're going to know how to pronounce, because now we're going to try to pronounce the publisher's name. It's a Wyvern. Wyvern. We're so sorry we're butchering that.
I think it's Wyvern. Yeah, so, as he said, Japanese abstract game. It was actually done on Kickstarter. First Kickstarter actually ever backed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I liked it because I like all things, well, not all things Japanese, but most things Japanese.
He wants to move to Japan one day.
Yeah,
so
I do.
There you go.
So it was right up my alley and very similar to a game that I've played before, but I'm not going to tell you anymore right now.
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and get this over to the table. If you want to know what we think about it, stick around after the overview of the rules, and we'll tell you exactly whether or not we liked it. First thing I want to show you these nice components, specifically these dice. Each die, now this is going to be a 2 to 6 player game. If you're going to play a 3 to 6 player version of it, then you're going to be using these dice, one different type of symbol for each player. And what these do, you don't roll them, they actually just mark specifically your card on the board. And that's going to be the ultimate goal, is you're trying to win the most cards that you play on the board and create waves to take over other people's cards. You're trying to capture everybody else's cards. Now, these other tokens here, these double-sided white and black tokens, these are only for the 2-player game. So, for example, just to give you an idea, you would play this card, you'd place whichever color you have decided to be, black or white, on that, and it just signifies that it's yours. And again, in a 3 to 6 player game, it's the same thing. You're just whatever color you've chosen, whatever insignia, that's going to be yours as well. So, well, first thing is, set up, you're going to be getting 5 cards in your hand. You're going to get a draw every turn, okay? So every time you play one, you get to play 1 card, but you get to draw 1 every turn as well. So let's give you an idea of what a traditional, or what a typical game might look like. And again, I'm not giving you every single rule in this overview, just enough to get you an understanding of it, okay? So, for example, let's say that the black player decided to play this card. Now, if you notice, you got a number for each side, and it's going to be different on each different type of card, okay? Now, for example, what you're trying to do is you're trying to, and you can place anywhere you want to out on the board, you're trying to use the higher numbers to overcome the lower on another card, and I'll show you that in action here. So let's play, again, I can place anywhere, it doesn't matter, corners, middle, it does not matter. Anybody can do that at any time. You don't have to connect to another person's card if you do not want to. So for example, I'm going to place there, okay, and now what I've done is I've claimed that for the black, okay? That is my card. It belongs to nobody else yet. But now, this is what's going to happen, okay? You see that 0 exposed on that side? Well, the other player has now chosen to play this. And obviously, if they want to place next to me, they want to try to overtake my card. So, and you can turn the card any which way you want. I mean, it could be upside down, you know, sideways, whatever. But, for example, let's say I want to play this 6 next to that 0. Now, the 6 wouldn't have been able to overtake this 7 here, okay? Matter of fact, all I would have done is had my own card claimed for myself, and I wouldn't have been able to overtake that card. But if I put it on a side where the number is lower than the other one, it allows me to not only capture my own card or claim my own card, but also capture the one right next to it. Now, the key thing is, it's just a difference in numbers. For example, 6 minus 0 is 6. So the cool thing is I have a potential now of actually capturing up to 6 cards, possibly, all right? Let me show you this. So let's say now the black player who just had his card captured now wants to play another card, okay? Now they're sitting there going, okay, this is maybe the best that they have in their hand. They're looking on the board, Well, there's some 0s here, and there's also a 1 right there. And for whatever reason, they don't have to, but they've decided to go ahead and play the 4 against that 1. Now, in this scenario, This 4 against this 1 is basically 4 minus 1. It makes it 3. That means I have a potential of capturing 3 other cards besides this one. So now what I'm going to do is place the black token on there, okay? And because it overcomes that 1, it now turns that black. But here's the thing. You see how the 0 does not overcome that 6? It will not capture this card, okay? Because the next card in line after you've captured it has to be able to overtake the next one that's coming up. Now, one more scenario. Let's pretend for a second that when they placed this card up here, we'd already had another card played at some point, right? All these 3 are white, right? The black player's playing now to overtake. And they turn this thing around to the 4, again, like we talked about before. And they place their black there. And now watch, this is how a wave works. Now, the 4 overcomes that 1, so they've got 3 left that they can overcome if possible. And now, see the bottom number, that 7 overcomes the 4 of that bottom card. And if you look, now that has created a wave. And that is how a wave works. And that could have just kept going and going and going depending on how many this started with and how many was left over. And that's basically how the game is played. Well, I can honestly say, let's start with the components. I can honestly say that I think that the component quality is pretty high for some of the parts. Some others maybe not so much. I'll just be honest with you on that one. Like for example, the dice. Mind if I take some of those? The dice, I feel are very nice. They feel nice and weighted in your hand. I do like the colors. I can't help it. I love custom dice. I think you could agree with that.
Yep.
Custom dice are awesome. The other thing is, for me, the card art. You know, like you see this very minimalist, simplistic style artwork even on the cover. But in this game, so some people might not like that, but for this game, I think it works because it kind of helps to bring what little theme that there really is in the game out more. I don't know what you think about the art specifically.
Yeah, I do agree. Now, I mean, obviously there's different cards. There's multiples of some, but yeah, I mean, it has that overall flavor, but you could get them so complicated and so filled up that you can't even see what you're doing, and that would
that's true. It could be like overwhelming to the player. I mean, in fact, if you hand me a couple of those cards, the thing I like about it is exactly what you're talking about. It's simplistic, and again, it fits the theme. It's kind of a serene game. Mm-hmm. I mean, would you say that it feels kind of serene, even though it's kind of stressful that you're trying to win? You know.
Well, yes and no, but at the same time, and this is not like an action game. You know, you're not blowing stuff up.
Yeah.
This is like kind of a.
I'm going to throw these dice at you, Greg, and I'm going to hurt you.
It's like a mental battle.
I'm going to make it an action game.
And you had mentioned, too, on the dice, you know, you were like, yeah, it would have been cool to see that they were engraved.
Yeah, I said that before we started the video, yeah.
But at the same time, you know, like I pointed out, you know, you're not really rolling the dice. The dice are there for you to mark your card.
That's true. You do kind of want to roll them just because they're there, but yeah, ultimately that's not what they're for. Right. They're for marking, right? I got that. The other thing I do like when it comes to the actual mechanics of the game, I do like how the game has those. You know, you have to count out where you are in terms of numbers, and you're trying to create cascades. It has that kind of a cascade effect. Waves, yeah. Exactly. I should have known that. You know, he's going to go off that box art, but it creates those waves where you could be down to like one of these dice on the board that are yours, right? One of these card markers that are yours, and then all of a sudden you got 6 or 7 in a row because you put down a very high, powerful card and you expose several people's weaknesses. So,
right, and that's the key to the game is you're looking to take the most cards while denying everybody else the chance to take yours, and it can change very quickly.
Yes, it can, and I found that out the other day. I think I was completely wiped off the board. What did we have, a 5-player game?
We did. Did you have 1 at the end, or?
I think I was. No, I was wiped out. Yeah, and I started off not too bad. I had like 5 or 6 maybe, and then what was her name? Sarah. She came in there and just wiped us out, and I don't remember who won that game. Was it her?
I did.
Did you finally win? Okay, because I know you were down for a little bit, but that's the thing is that the waves kept happening, and I, you know, I mean, I'm not like an expert at this game yet, and quite frankly, abstracts aren't necessarily in my wheelhouse. I do like abstract games, don't get me wrong, but it's not the first game I tend to go towards, whereas you, on the other hand, I think
I like
you
a wide variety of games.
A wide variety, yeah.
But For me, I like how this game scales. When you're playing a 2-player game of this, it feels like chess. You're thinking, if I do this, then they're going to do this, then I do this, and then, and that you have...
It kind of reminds you of Othello.
It does. You use those in a 2-player game. You can use the dice. It doesn't really matter. It's just, the dice are there to, correspond with the color.
Speaking of components, I do, going back to that, I do like the feel of these. I don't know what it is. They're little wooden double-sided tokens, white and black. I don't know. It's something. It reminds me of Othello, and I actually like Othello. It's one of the few abstracts I really, really like. So.
And it does fit. You're kind of in a feudal. This is not modern day Japan art, so having the little wood tokens kind of fits that whole.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And the art, like I said, being minimalist as it is, it's nice. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, going back to scaling though. So 2-player game, very much like chess, is as you add people, it changes the entire dynamic of the game. When you're playing with 5 people, you're not can't think, now if I do this and then they do. No, you don't know what it's going to look like when it comes back to you.
It is a beat down.
But I like that because
it is an awesome beat down.
It does change the dynamics very much.
And I didn't mind being tossed out of the game the way I did the other day in terms of that, because again, it's almost like a multiplayer game of chess. You really are trying to outwit your opponents on where you go. But again, some of it is luck of the draw. Some of it. But you do get a hand of five cards, right? You start off and you really have to strategize your way through. But again, if you draw some cards that don't have a whole lot to them, like good strengths on several sides, you could really, really, really expose yourself to a lot of weakness and a lot of weak plays.
I'd say that, but that is the one concern I think I had, is like, oh man, what if you just got, no good cards for the match? But the reality is, there's not really that many standout cards. The ones that have the higher numbers, like 2 6s, is balanced by 2 0s. So
That's
it's
true.
knowing where to place it. And then you got some 2s and 4s.
I think that comes into play in a higher player tiered game.
Well, yeah, but the chance that you're gonna get all bad cards, if you want to put it in quotes.
I quoted it.
It is, I think, rare just due to the amount of cards, and then I think everybody else is going to be in the same position. There's not game breaking cards except for the seppuku card, which I got for being a Kickstarter backer.
Yeah, you had to throw that promotion in there. Thanks for letting everybody else know that they might not get that. So, hey, he's a Kickstarter backer. It's his little enjoyment and reward. And that's the thing. The good thing, here's the other thing I like about it. The game does not overstay its welcome.
No.
You're in and out, 20 minutes? It took probably...
Oh, easily.
If that.
Not only that, it's one of the easiest games to teach. We have 5 people.
Maybe 5 minutes to teach it.
Yeah, total. It took me most 5 minutes to teach, and people are playing. It's not hard to learn, but it has depth there. I think as you go, that your strategy is going to change over time. You will get better at the game.
Well, the reason I also liked it too was because on the board, if you pull that out, on the board itself, I like the fact that there's a finite amount of places to play. Okay, once you fill up all these squares, you're done. The game is over, and whoever has the most of their particular insignia on the board is the winner. And that's the thing I like about it. It has a finite amount of time you're going to play it.
Right.
Once you're done, doesn't matter how many cards you got left in your hand or whatever, all these are filled up, you're done. And so that's what is another thing I like about it. It's almost got like its own organic time limit. Not a lot of abstracts I've played personally seem to have that. Some of them do, but not very many.
It does, and that also kind of goes back into what I was saying about how it scales. Ironically, in a 2-player game, I think you're going to have more of that analysis paralysis, where you're playing with 5 people.
Yes, you do.
It goes quick.
I agree with that.
Because, you don't know what it's going to be like, so you're just... the time that you choose to make a move goes down significantly, I feel like.
Yeah. And so, ultimately... who's this going to be for? I think it could go for people who like chess. I really do. I think it could go for people who like brief games. Now, again, your typical person who wants a big, meaty, heavy-duty game with a lot of theme, this may not be their game. But at the same time, if they're willing to have a filler, it feels like... This is the weird thing for me. It feels like a filler, but again, it has a big game feel too at the same time. It almost has a kind of both, a mixture of both. Yeah. Not a lot of theme, but again, the artwork does enough to pull you into it. But again, all you're doing is placing things on the board. But I do like the fact, the other thing, what was that story about how Japanese warriors would play a game. You said something about final.
Oh yeah, exactly. On the back, it basically talks about there's a myth and legend, and long ago large forces would meet on the battle, and they would actually play a similar game to this rather than sacrificing all their men, and that's what would determine the outcome of the battle. Now, if that's true or not, I don't know.
That'd be awesome if it
cool
was.
Story.
Hey, board games can solve wars, make peace with boards. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, what do I think of the game ultimately? I like it. I would say for me, if I go by my beard rating system, I know I have a beard rating system. Again, I am still working the kinks out on this. I'd like to know what you guys would think about it. Maybe you can give me some suggestions. But like for me, a baby face is kind of a very low tier. I wasn't that happy with it. Doesn't mean you're a bad person if you have a baby face. No big deal, right? It's just me because we got beards. But the other thing, a short beard is, like a 5 to 6. Medium beard is like, hey, 7 or 8. It's pretty good. I like it a lot. If I'm going 9 to 10, that's ZZ Top. You know what I'm saying? Right now, for me, this game's hovering around the medium beard. It's like a 7 or an 8, possibly. I don't have a number nailed down on it.
But that's really good for a game.
No, it is, and the thing is, it's not even my normal style of game. I'm not a huge fan of abstracts. I like them, and I'll play some. There's some I just refuse to play, either because they're too long or they're too convoluted. This one is not too convoluted. There is a little bit of thinkiness in the game. You have to really figure out the numbers and how it's going to overcome other people's numbers. But other than that, I like the game, and it's fun. And again, because it's only about, 20 minutes.
That's
no matter how many people are playing, really. I mean, you might have a little bit of added time for more people, but again, you've got that organic time limit from the board. So
that's also what makes it easy to, show new people. Most people don't mind playing a game that's like 15 or 20 minutes, and then, more and more people kind of, fall in love with it. But
how about you, brother? What are you thinking? You can give a number if you don't remember the beat. That's my own silly thing I'm still working on. So
I mean, I really, really like this game.
And you're more of a puzzle style, because it feels slightly like you're working a puzzle out.
It does. Well, and honestly, part of the game actually comes from Final Fantasy. I think it was 8. There was a card game in that, and that was part of the basis for this game. He basically took it, tweaked it, and made it better.
See, we threw a video game in there too.
There you go. I like the game. I like the art style. I like the fact that I can teach people quickly, and everybody I've played with it so far, whether it's their style game or not, has really kind of taken to it. I'll easily go with an 8 on it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give it an 8.
Well, that's pretty much what we think of it. A good game, and I think that the publisher has a reason to be proud of it. Is this our first game? Wyvern Publishing?
I believe they're either their first or their second, and I know that they've got a couple others they're working on.
Yeah, I think this would be a great game for you. If you like what you've heard from us, please jump on this game. It's well worth it. Now, I don't know. I want to ask you guys, what is your favorite abstract style game? Have you actually gotten a chance to play Onami? Not a lot of copies are out there yet. I mean, you're gonna be seeing a lot more very soon. As a matter of fact, I think we've contacted the publisher and they've said something about that, right? So, but yeah, let us know what your favorite abstract game is, and hey, are you interested in Onami? Let us know that as well. And again, thanks so much again for watching the Dice Odyssey videos. Please like, subscribe. If you like seeing what we're doing right now, please do those things, because we really want to put more content out there for you. We want to help you find some really good quality games. That's our whole purpose in this, in doing this series, as a matter of fact. So again, thanks again. I'm Kas.
Still Greg.
Well, we're going to have to change your name sometime soon, because Still Greg ain't working for me. But anyway, thanks again. You have a blessed day, and game away.